right? That, right? Knowing it. See, I choked. Never expose your central part of your body. This, then I might try to bang him. Every technique comes into use. Today we are going to talk about the real life situations or the realistic situations where how to defend ourselves against various weapons. Something like a knife, it could be a club, it could be anything. But how do we defend ourselves in the real street fight situations? Before you defend yourself, how do you face an adversary or an opponent? How do you space between you and your opponent? These two things are very important than even going for directly with the defenses and all these things, right? For example, if somebody is having a knife, right, and he or she is going to coming into you, like how are you going to stand? Like you are going to defend. You hold this knife. You hold this knife. How are you going to defend? Like if she is coming, like how are you going to? I have seen some of these channels, some of the people saying that, like as she is coming and she is swinging like this is ultra dangerous. Keep coming, keep coming, keep ultra dangerous. This is very, 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 very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Why it's very dangerous? The man who was doing it like this, fortunately got a good views, and he's tapping like this and he's trying to say that like that. But look at my face and look at my head, look at my body. I am bringing all together my face close to the weapon. I am not distancing myself away from the weapon. This is absolutely absurd. In street, always take care that the most important area to be protected is your neck and head. Very first. So do not bend forward when you are doing it like this. Somebody is coming like this, right? Like I am coming onto you like this. See, the bending of the head, the bending of the head, that bending of the head, that's bending of the head. This should not happen. You must protect your head. But how do you face like when you go on to an opponent? As I said that this is not the way like that I have seen that somebody doing like this. It's absolutely absurd. How? A simple technique. Simple technique. Like you may ask me that, how do we face an opponent? Shall I stand like this? Shall I stand like this? Shall I stand away from? What is the position? Unless you master this particular position, it's a very simple step. You don't require to be a martial artist or anything. It's a simple step. The very important thing is, the moment you face an adversary, your opponent, what do you do is, if he is like this, you take one step back. Right? Then you may ask me, why do we need to take one step back? Why don't we face directly like this? The very important thing is, once you are facing an opponent like this, all your vital organs which are at the center of your body, you are exposing. Never expose your central part of your body, right, where you have so many vital organs, right from your eyes to your bridge of nose, to your Adam apple, your windpipe, your sternum or solar plexus, to a lower abdomen, and the heart and this side, the lungs and everything. It's in the center portion. If this is a computer, this is a machine, and you are exposing the whole thing and you are going to try to defend yourself. This is not the healthy way of approaching your opponent in a street. Then how should we approach? And another one more thing, like you are coming on to me. What do people do generally? How do they do? Like you are coming on to me. Right, you are coming. Now people try to cover their face and turn around. Don't do this. Never cover your face and turn around, and never give your back. The moment you give your back to your opponent or adversary, you are encouraging him further. Face him perfectly. What is the important thing? Take a step back. When you take a step back, what happens? For example, you have your opponent or adversary here, right? Okay, he has that rubber knife. This will do, right? This will do. Now see, take step back. Right, come back. You don't require to take a martial arts stance, like a deep stance and all this thing. But how? Like the moment you find, right, you just take a step. Now what happens? My center line, as you are attacking, now from this position, as I step away, my center line and all my vital organs are kept away from him. But now they are exposed. Correct? Now they are away from him. This is the first thing. Now, next step, what you to be remembered is your stronger leg. What is that I said? Stronger leg. Always stronger leg, take it back. Suppose if my right leg is stronger, when you are coming, take right leg back. Right? And be prepared to lift little your left leg up. Be prepared to lift your left leg up. You got it? So the first stage is just like this. It could be even an unarmed attack. It could be even an unarmed attack. He is coming to attack me. Right. I'm going to take my side. Or even I'm going to go to him to ask, why you are troubling me? Why you are bullying me? Don't go like this. Don't go like this. Right? You approach him like this. What do you want? Your head turned. What do you want? But never like this. Whether you are going to attack him or you are going to question him, you are going to be a preemptive or he is coming. But in any case, never give your friend to bad. At the same time, you take his center line. You take his center line, but don't give your center line. This is a simple trick, even before your self-defense starts. It's as simple as that, right?
How can that be done, taking the center line?
Suppose, how can it be taken center line? For example, I'm here, I came like this. Now he is trying to come there. Now he is trying to come there. Now I take. You are coming that side. Now I come here. Otherwise, he'll be taking my back. But always I am trying to face his center line. Without telegraphing any of your intentions and moments. Very casually. Even if in case there is no fight is breaking between you and other person. Always remember that don't be head on. Anyway, cultivate this habit. The moment you find that any adversary, sometimes what happens, where is the knife? The knife could be behind. He has not yet started attacking you, but you know his intention. Straight you try to take a stance and ask, what do you want? Like he is coming like this, take a step back. This is the thing. Understood? Why should we take the stronger leg back? Another important thing. For example, he is here. The knife is here. The knife is here. Right? Now, for example, if in case he is like that, just I am going to give a tap that you will be falling. Right? It happens like this. Come here. Come here. Now what happens? If in case he takes his right leg back, when I am just doing it, he arrests it. Arrest it. Yes, he arrested it. You understood? He arrested it. So, for example, my right leg is back. Now when he is pushing me, right. When he is pushing like this, when he is pushing, I can take shock. So rear leg must stabilize it. But if you stand head on like this, then you are back. You got it? So this one thing you must remember, that stronger leg should be taken back. You should be prepared for arresting. Otherwise, if you happen to fall, maybe further attacks comes onto you. Right?
Why can't we just escape instead of facing?
Yeah, it's like that. Some people, they advise you, why don't we run away? Right? When the moment you see it, why don't we run away? It's good. You can run away. If situation permits. A street fight is very fluid. You don't know when the situation, even from an armed, it can turn to unarmed. From an unarmed, it can turn to armed. Like how? From an unarmed to armed. For example, he has no arm. Now suddenly I might take some article like this and I might try to bang him. But initially I never had anything in my hand. Suddenly I picked up something, I might bang. It can turn from armed to unarmed, unarmed to armed. It's very fluid. So there are no set of rules. There are no set of rules. Here, why I advise you sometimes not to run. Why I advise you not to run? Why? Because every time you don't have a place or a space or a conducive atmosphere to run away. Suppose you are traveling in a train, in a metro. Where do you run? Suddenly if somebody takes a knife, where are you going to be? There is no place to run. Or you are in a corner. When you are cornered, you are in a theater. You went for seeing a show. Suddenly you are cornered. Where are you going to run? In such situations where you are cornered, where there is no place, in such places, running away is not an option, but somehow you have to defend yourself. And in this defense, as I said, that taking a place, there is one thing, and keep your front leg ready. Even if you are not a martial artist, can rise it up. So it can supplement with your hand and the leg, both can supplement. And one more thing is, try to maintain, apart from facing an opponent, there is a spacing with the opponent. The facing and the spacing. What is that spacing it mean? For example, when he is swinging, I must space. That space, even if in case it is a little, but I must space. But standing here, I try to defend like this, come like this, and like this, like this, like this. These things won't do. These things won't do. So I have to create a space. That space should be very healthy space. That you see, if possible, in a crowded place, it's very difficult. If possible, try to create a space between you and your adversary. And there is a simple trick I'll tell you here, right? What is the simple trick? When you wanted to space like that, the moment you take a step back, already you are spaced out. The reason being, second leg, when you draw, the space is created. You got it? It's preemptive. The moment you keep your leg back, though body is, it's a pseudo body position, it's a duplicate body position. In fact, like your position is here, not here, the moment you step back. So, if in case it requires series of steps you take back, but do not face the opponent straight. So, this is important. Now comes the question like, as should we follow a traditional defenses? Some people they say that these traditional defenses are not effective. Some people they say effective, but we have to follow a middle path. Every technique comes into use. You don't know when and how. Don't discard any kind of a technique, any kind of a approach, because everything is useful. Since I said that a fight is very fluid, you have to be prepared for any kind of thing. For example, when I was being attacked, as you know that in Vidyaranyapura, right, with a chopper or a knife, the traditional defense very well worked in my favor. Though I got injuries, but I survived from a life-threatening situation. But I had used unorthodox methods, orthodox methods, traditional methods, untraditional methods. I used both, right? There is nothing wrong when an attack is coming, just to disarm him like this. There is nothing wrong if you are capable of it. If you are not capable of it, there is no traditional defense. You come this side. Do not go for any elaborate blocks or the traditional martial arts blocks. Sometimes they won't be applicable. The most important thing is, sometimes they are applicable. The most important thing to take care is, while blocking, grabbing is more important. A grab is more important than a block. Somehow you see that a grab is, and very next to it, for example, an attack came. You do not wait for elaborate, big defenses and all. The moment when you see, right? The moment when you say this, right? Like, these are some of the, right, you come here. Like, I am just trying to show you, for a quick flick is flash, which anybody can use. A slap, everybody learns it, right? Okay, so anyone can use it. A quick defense is like that, right? Okay, right. A quick solar plexus, right? A quick go on. But If you secure that, that's good. Even for a fraction of second, if you are able to intercept or divert his thing, don't wait. And by the time, when the time is bought, then you have a escape. But thing is, if you are a trained martial artist, I have locked. Maybe some instances you have seen it, like I have locked various locks and I have escaped, right? And the traditional learning, why I advise you to learn, it gives you, number one, confidence. Number two, the traditional approach of practice gives you an ability to study the opponent because you have learned, right? Number three, it also gives you an ability to understand the vulnerable positions on the body of your opponent. An untrained person, you do not know where exactly to strike, right? But I am knowing it. See, I choked. I know it, like exactly where to strike, right? And number four, what is more important? Number four is, you are left-handed? Right, fine. Number four, what is more important is, it also trains you to take the punishment. Like as I said in one my fight, I have been attacked, I received injuries, but still I could sustain because of the conditioning. But whereas my adversaries or opponent, with each hit, they were down. They don't have that resilience or a body conditioning, right? But whereas I could take the shock. It's not a question of how do you punish your opponent. It also matters how much you can accept the punishment from your opponent. So considering all these things, absolutely do not disregard a traditional defense. See, again, icomophobia. The knife, even if it is in your own hand, people get scared. You have to counsel yourself, you must get rid of it. So, what I say is, practice traditional approach, unorthodox, and when the situation arises, it is spontaneity. What matters is, it is a spontaneity. It is just a spontaneity, right? It is just a spontaneity. You can use, like if you are a martial arts, but I don't suggest everybody. But every time, running is not an option. When you are cornered, I told you that, like, try to understand first, very vulnerable positions are like this, windpipe, and this here, windpipe and sternum, and you have this solar plexus, right? And you have this groin. These are very, very important, and also the eyes. So it is better that at least if you can defend yourself little, rather than absolutely leaving yourself vulnerable for do what you wanted. Right? Don't be so wooden. Like never in street fight, attacks will be like that. Never. Knife position keep changing from stab, from this, from that. It goes around, right? It goes around. So you have to be prepared. And it is, once I said this, it is not only connected with the knife, it could be with any weapon, it could be even unarmed combat, likewise. And one technique is not that a kind of a magic bullet or a panacea or an answer for every kind of a situation. You have to be fluid, right? Next, I will try to speak to you. How do you identify the psychology of an attacker? Would you like to know? That's also is very important. Where is that knife? Right. See, how to identify an attacker.